Electric longboards are all the rage nowadays, and they're awesome, but they're bloody expensive and crazy heavy. Today I'm going to show you a Chinese electric skateboard that's nowhere near as fast, or as well built, or as smooth, but it's only $260, and it's tiny. Smaller than a standard skateboard. Max-C from Maxfind is currently on Indiegogo for $259. Now the difference between most Indiegogo projects and this one is that this thing is ready to ship. I have a production model here in my hand. And as you can see, my weak, non-frat boy little noodle arm hasn't broken off yet by holding the thing. And that's because it only weighs 8 pounds, 3.5 kilos. And it's only 27 inches in length, which is shorter than the average skateboard deck. So yeah, this thing is tiny, and that's one of its biggest selling points. The build quality is acceptable. It's plastic covered in this heinous fake carbon fiber finish. The grip tape is complete trash, and the wheel bearings are pretty lousy. Not to mention that the trucks were way too loose when shipped from the factory, at least for my tastes. Now, the board feels sturdy enough, and it didn't give me any issue in my 4 weeks of testing, so that's good. One thing that is super weird is that the rear wheels are soft longboard wheels, and the front wheels are much firmer skateboard-like wheels. Considering that this thing is not designed for the skate park, I figured that they should have just used 4 gummy longboard wheels instead. It would have provided better traction. The controller looks and feels like the aborted stepchild of an alcoholic Wii nunchuck. It looks like crap and it feels like crap. There is a joystick that only works in one direction, forward. To go in reverse, you have to push the reverse button and then push forward on the nunchuck to go backwards. There's also a button for the LED light, which kind of helps visibility at night, but not really. The board is one-wheel drive, and it features a hub motor, which is both a blessing and a curse, mostly the latter. Unlike belt-driven motors that are in the boosted board and other high-end skateboards, the hub motor is completely sealed in the rear left wheel. Now this is good because since it's sealed, the board is water resistant, which is very unusual for electric skateboards. I've ridden this thing through puddles, through gutters with water. I even rode it in the rain for about 20 minutes, and the rain was pretty heavy rain, and I had 0 electrical issues. Furthermore, there's no belt for debris to get stuck in or things to get jammed in. But there's a reason that the premium skateboard brands don't use hub motors. They provide really very little torque. The maximum rider weight for the Max-C is 176 pounds or 80 kilos. I weigh 168 pounds, and that's 8 pounds under the weight limit. But the board somehow still struggles to carry my planter's peanut physique. Now, on the flat surfaces, the board is fine. It can go from stop, not a problem. However, it doesn't hit the stated 15 miles per hour top speed and seems to peter out at around 11 miles per hour or 18 kilometers per hour. Now, going uphill is a different story. The board handles moderate inclines just fine, although slowly. However, on no location in Earth, only on a Martian planet, would you be able to go up a 20% grade like the Indiegogo page states. Even slightly steep hills are going to require that you either lose 100 pounds or that you assist the board by giving it a bit of a push. Going downhill is by far the most terrifying part, however, because while the board features regenerative braking, when you pull back on the joystick, the motor isn't powerful enough to really bring anyone who's over 100 pounds to a standstill. So it'll slow you down just enough for you to jump off, but that's about it. And that's assuming you don't fall off. Because when you pull back the brake, the motor stator immediately applies 100% braking force. And because of that, there's a huge jerking motion that comes through the board when you pull back. So when braking, lean back or eat asphalt. So Maxfind also sells a longboard that features 2 motors, and I suspect that this model would handle weight limits and incline and speed much better than the Max-C. So why doesn't the Max-C have 2 motors? Well, it's pretty simple, and that's range. The board claims 10 miles on a charge, and that's a generous estimate. I tested this on a quarter-mile track that was completely flat, and I got 19 laps, so that's just shy of 5 miles. That's not horrible, I guess, considering the board's size. However, introducing any type of incline is going to cut that number down significantly. The biggest problem, however, isn't even the battery capacity, it's the battery type. Boosted board uses lithium iron phosphate and many other boards use lithium polymer. Now, Max-C uses lithium ion. Now they claim to use Samsung's high power cells, but I'm skeptical. Other boards will put out 100% power until the cell is empty, but not Max-C. The lower the battery gets, the slower the board will become. I would rather prefer less range and have it maintain 100% speed and torque until the batteries are exhausted, but that's not the case. It might seem that I've crapped on this board a lot, and to be fair, I have. It's got a lot of issues, but it's still really fun, and you can still use it to mostly get around campus and town. And the size and weight are perfect. I'm not aware of a smaller, lighter electric skateboard. And then it's weather sealed, so you can drive it in the rain, and that's a really, really good plus. Now, would I recommend it at the $400 retail price? No. But at $260, which is the Indiegogo price, which is good for another 2 weeks, it makes the Max-C a lot more tempting. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like. If you hated it, that other button seems to work okay too. But most importantly, thank you for watching, and as always, stay snazzy.